concerning a case, an ongoing case he is involved in without breaching professional ethics?
Okay, thank you for the privilege. Without mentioning what, the answer is emphatic no.
Okay.
First, every Nigerian citizen has the right by the Constitution of Nigeria to protest when it's necessary. But when you elected to be a lawyer, when anybody elected to be a lawyer, you must be bound by the rules of professional conduct. As a Nigerian citizen, you can do your protest. But as a lawyer, more so in a case that you are a counsel, it is emphatic no. It negates the rules of professional conduct. That a matter that is ongoing, a matter that is sub judice, any other person, the truth is that any other Nigerian can go on the street and protest, including lawyers. But for a lawyer that is before the court, in the matter that has been asserted, this same lawyer has filed a notice of no case submission, which the court did not agree with him. What the next thing was for him to open his defense. But for this same lawyer, rather than opening his defense, he resorted to demonstration or protest. That is an affront. It is unethical. No matter how you view it. Even if you say you're wearing the toga of a civil society. Not in this case. Because you're already a counsel in the matter. What then would you think the court would do? That yesterday you were on the street, demanding that the person standing trial be released, and the day after that you appear in court to conduct your matter. What an irony. How does that fly? So my view is that as much as anybody has the right to protest, including lawyers, but not a lawyer in a matter that is before the court. In fact, reading that protest, it is morally wrong, it is ethically wrong. That's my stand.
All right. Now, Okpara's position is that previous court orders were disobeyed, and he possibly does not think, I say possibly because I can't tell what's in his mind, he doesn't think that the court is credible. So if that is their position, I'm still going to play something else he said. What are the options available to a lawyer who may have lost faith in the legal system?
You see, the beauty of the law, no matter how porous, let me use that word, no matter how porous a ruling of court, you may view a ruling of court. The law is that law, that order must be obeyed. If you are not comfortable with that order, the same law has provided a room for you to set aside that same order. By appealing that order, but as long as that order subsists, whatever anybody is saying, it's inconsequential. Order of court are meant to be obeyed. You don't say because there was an order sometimes, a particular person didn't obey court order. Therefore, you will not obey court order. Then you are one to prison. That is the case. You cannot, no matter how porous no matter how porous, if an order of court is given, you are bound to obey that law.
Okay. So the law courts obviously exist for the purpose of justice. The process that leads to it, of course, the dispensation of said justice. But if, Barrister Williams, a law court gives you an order you do not obey, and it gives me an order and I'm expected to obey, that is exactly the definition of injustice. And while I'm not asking that you take laws into your hands, because the law should be taken to court, when a person is in a position where they are expected to obey an order that the other party did not obey, how do they handle it? But before you answer that question, let me play Okpara also sharing this sentiment.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I need to. All right.
5 courts, 2 foreign courts and 3 local courts, has given judgment in favor of Nnamdi Kanu against federal government. One even awarded 1 billion naira in his favor against federal government. The other one awarded 500 million naira in his favor against federal government. Court of Appeal, the 3-man panel, the discharge Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And federal government refused to comply with that law. Secondly, the president now come back and see all those people. Court said, you are a murderer, you should die by hanging. You are a drug addict, you should serve sentence. President came back and pardoned all of them.
Now, Mr. Williams, let's take the first part. Court orders the federal government did not obey. Now there are expectations of Nnamdi Kanu's counsel and those who are on, what is considered the other side to obey court order. How do we juxtapose that with the idea of justice?
My learned friend, Opara, well, I don't know, because he's a cousin to Nnamdi Kanu. He can talk the way he's talking. Without prejudice to the matter before the honorable court. The truth is, if an order of court is made against a particular person, like in this case, as Opara alleged, against the federal government, that federal government should be 1 billion naira or 500 million. He knows that what you have to do as a council is to start a garnishing proceeding. It's a start a garnishing proceeding to get that money from whoever that the court has made a judgment debtor. It's to start a garnishing proceeding. Not to say, because they didn't obey the law, therefore, when court gives order, you will not obey. No, now, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up at all. Like I said, without prejudice to the matter before the honorable court, I'm not talking about the matter before the Nnamdi Kanu's matter. But what we're talking here is how and how it should be. Alright? That somebody refused for whatever reason to obey the court order. You as a lawyer, you know the things to do. You know the needful. There's something called consent proceeding. You don't say because Mr. A didn't obey, therefore I will not obey. Because unfortunately, you are not Mr. A, you are not as big as Mr. A. So what am I saying in a nutshell? It doesn't matter who court orders must obey. If you are in the matter, and let me, I don't want to put that in here. But if you are in the matter and the judgment is delivered one way or the other, and the other person refused to obey the order of court, you commit a consent proceeding against that person. Not to say, because this person didn't obey, therefore me I will not obey. No, it doesn't add up. That is the position of the law.
Okay. Now, some people hold the opinion that if the president can grant pardons to convicted criminals, Nnamdi Kanu deserves to be released and pardoned as well. What's your take on that?
You see, my dear brother, like I said again, I'm not holding brief of the president. The point is, the president has the constitutional power to grant pardon. And who do you grant pardon? Not a convicted person. When somebody is convicted, it's very important you can grant pardon. But in this case, Nnamdi Kanu is facing trial. It could be that at the end of the trial, he might not be convicted. He may be decided and acquitted. So you don't compare. Mr. President, I'm not saying that whatever Mr. President did is morally correct. I'm not saying that. But the fact that he has the power to do what he has done, so he cannot coerce him because he has granted pardon to convict. Therefore, you come and release somebody who is facing trial. If Mr. President will grant pardon to Nnamdi Kanu, he must start and be convicted. That's the function of the law.
All right, we take a break now. After that, we look at the presidency's call for sanctions against the lawyer who protested. Please stay with us.
It's okay.
Welcome back. It's still Hard Facts, 92.3 Nigeria Info. Sam Chinedu here. And our conversation for this hour is about the presidency demanding disciplinary action for Kanu's lawyer who joined a protest. My guest, Barrister J.C. Williams, is still with me. Are you still there, Barrister Williams?
Yes, I am.
All right. So there has been a call by the presidency for sanction against the lawyer for participating in that protest. Now, legally, is this enforceable?
You see, first, I want to say the presidency should not politicize legal proceedings. It is not in the position of the presidency to suggest or instruct the MBA, so to say. You know, the can make a petition to the Nigerian Bar Association, the Disciplinary Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association, because what the lawyers to Nnamdi Kanu have done, you know, I mean, to me, it deserves a disciplinary action. Yes, because this profession, we need to uphold the tenets of this profession. We don't get too emotional about it and then fall into trouble. Yes, the federal government, in a way, can make that petition, but it should not be politicized. It should not be. You know, in Nigeria, everything is politics. It should not be. The MBA can look into, the Disciplinary Committee of the MBA can look into the conduct of the lawyer in question. And if he's found wanting, I mean, he can be disciplined. He can be, so this should not, you know, in Nigeria, we generate things just to distract people. The trial of Nnamdi Kanu is going on, and that is what people should be concerned about. The lawyer has done what he has done, and I hear he was arraigned. I don't know how true is that. And he was arrested and arraigned. You know?
Yeah, one of the lawyers, yes.
Yes. If I don't know the charge, I don't know what he's going to be charged, but the conduct of the lawyer, as far as I'm concerned, morally speaking, it's unbecoming of a lawyer who is prosecuting a matter before a court. So to that extent, the government, if they want, they can petition the MBA. And then MBA will look, the Disciplinary Committee of MBA will look into it. And the appropriate sanctions, if need be, will be done.
Okay. Let's take a few calls. The numbers are call 0817 923 0002. 0817 923 0003. Where should the line be drawn between civil liberties and professional responsibility? If and when you call, please turn off your radio so we can hear you and hear you once. Also, go straight to the point. If you have any questions for my guest, he is on the phone. You can ask those questions connected to this conversation. Melody from Uniport says, the question is, what does the Constitution say about the protest irrespective of one's status? Is moral and ethical postulation higher than constitutional postulations? We should be able to separate the lawyer as a professional and the lawyer as a civil rights activist. We should also be able to separate the court proceedings from the perceiving justice of federal government. The protest is against federal government, not the court itself. I think you responded to this earlier, Barrister Williams,
yes.
Talking about...
Yes, I did. I said that, look, the Constitution of Nigeria, 1999, has amended, and given every Nigerian citizen the right to protest. But when you choose to be a lawyer, when you're elected to be a lawyer, you must be bound by the rules of professional conduct.
Okay.
Nobody says anybody cannot protest. Any lawyer can go and protest. But in this case, a lawyer who is handling a case before a court, and it is the subject matter that the lawyer went outside the courtroom to protest against. That is moral, I mean, it's morally wrong.
All right, let's hear from...
The professional conduct, professional rules.
Yeah.
Rules of professional conduct,
Let's hear from Jude, who calls from Omuma. Good evening, Jude.
Yes, I have to thank J.C. Williams for educating barristers and their opera on an issue they should have known better than we. They were not lawyers. He has explained this case, this matter is before a court. And now the barrister has a right to protest, but not the lawyers in a case that it is opened for their defense.
Hello? Okay, I've lost that call. Barrister Williams, could you hear the caller?
Yes.
Okay.
What the caller said is the true position. Like I said again, every lawyer, before we became lawyers, we were first Nigerian citizens. And the Constitution has given us the right to protest when necessary.
All right.
But why I elected to be a lawyer means there is a Constitution. Let me bring it to that level. The lawyers have Constitution, what they call rules of professional conduct. But because I am not a lawyer, I will abide by that Constitution, what we call rules of professional conduct. No matter what, I must abide by that. So when a lawyer, when I have a matter before a court, any other lawyer can go on the street and protest concerning that matter. But not me, who is handling that matter. What that means is that, let me tell you, apparently it shows that I have no confidence in the judge handling that matter. That is what it means.
Okay, let's take more calls. Let's take more calls. Gift calls from Yenugwa. Hello, Gift. Good evening.
Good evening, Sam Chinedu Oracle. Good
evening
to your guest. As far as I'm concerned, J.C. Williams has finished work this evening. I said it yesterday, I repeated it this morning, and I will continue that way. You cannot. This very Ejimako is one of the, in fact, is the lead lawyer. Do you know how many years he has stayed with this particular man called Nnamdi Kanu? He has been his lead lawyer. So he understands the system. The truth of the matter, they are only bringing different kinds of tactics. There's nothing like, no connection between clemency or pardon or whatever. All the excuses, like Okpara was saying, I listened to him. When the lady in her eyes was putting those questions to him, there was no good answer, no response from him. Just like what J.C. Williams is saying. Why can't you respect yourself? You are there, they gave you six, according to you, an accelerated hearing is what you want. And this judge granted it, unlike other judges that before now you complain of delayed taxes and all the rest. Now today you are the one that is even employing that very delayed taxes. They should calm down and forget about politics. Go and defend yourself. In fact, today, the man has decided to even defend himself, not even with any of these lawyers anymore. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Muriel calls from Okrika. Good evening, Muriel.
Thank you, Sammy. Good evening.
Good evening.
This is your Okrika woman.
Go ahead.
Sammy, I wonder why only the lawyers that are sympathetic to the president are always right. Every other lawyer seems to be wrong, seems not to know the law. And sometimes I wonder, this law of a thing, a particular matter, a lawyer can argue for, and another lawyer will come and give that same quote and argue against. It's almost confusing and interesting at the same time. But I must say, Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer that went on the protest, I want to ask, is there anything or any law against a lawyer or any professional to go out on the protest as a Nigerian citizen? When you see something wrong, can a journalist go out and protest or join the protest? Can a lawyer join? Can a doctor join? That is the pertinent question for me. It's not about him being an Nnamdi or Nnamdi Kanu lawyer or something. Does he have the right as a Nigerian to go and protest for a change in this country?
All right, thank you, Muriel. Well, a major part of this conversation has been an attempt to answer that question, and it's beyond an attempt. I believe we have. J.C. Williams, my guest, says very clearly, yes, you can protest as a lawyer, but if you are involved in a case that is still in court for that particular case and that particular lawyer, you cannot and should not be involved in a protest. because that is suggestive of your loss of faith in the legal system. And, well, it shows that you have deployed an alternative means to get to whatever your destination would be considered. Lawson calls from Yenagua. Hello, Lawson. Good evening. I've lost that call. Call back if you can. I'll take messages and get back to my guest. Melody from Uniport says the question, okay, I've taken that, says, can the protest be equated to seeking alternative dispute resolution with the federal government? Well, if you're looking for alternative, then you shouldn't be in court. That's why it's called alternative. I disagree with your guest. This message reads, when the federal government was busy disobeying court orders, why didn't lawyers like your guest occupy the streets? The talk of the federal government still prosecuting Kanu is still part of jungle justice. Let the NGA sanction the lawyer. We will occupy the streets. Let the government. Okay, Aye Batonye, have we not lost confidence in the courts currently? Well, the fact that it's not working in a few places does not mean that everyone should refuse to follow due process. Hello, Sam. I was shocked when I saw the lawyer participating in the protest. Is it that he didn't know the implication of what he was doing? Or why did he go ahead to join in the protests? I also wonder why Shore, who is the chief convener of the protest, was left to go and the others were arrested. Were they being selective in their action? Dafe was asking. Police say they arrested those believed to have gone to places by court order, but refused to enforce the court order that severally granted bail to Nnamdi Kanu. All Nigerians should stand up to prevent the ugly policies being set by the Tinubu administration in order to save our democracy. Things are already going out of hand. All right, Barrister Williams.
Yes.
Conclusively, I think the question I asked the listener, I would also have to ask you. Where should the line be drawn between civil liberties and professional responsibility?
You see, I answered that question earlier. I said, all of us are Nigerians, and we have the protection of the Constitution, whether wearing the toga of civil society, wearing the toga of lawyers, engineers, doctors. Everything government, political lawyers, our advisory, is it not so?
Yeah.
Now, the Constitution of lawyers will call it move